Hello, welcome back to another video. It's your boy Marshy Sputter. So today I kind of wanted this video to be just about terraforming, really. I noticed the past videos I've been doing, they've been just Let's Plays, and I kind of wanted to make this video a little bit of an introductory or like a instructional video on how to do terraforming. Which, terraforming, if you didn't know, it is to terra, which is technically land, and then form, so it means form the land. Words are fun, right? Yeah. So anyways, with terraforming, today I'll be doing this area. I kind of want it to flatten it out and make it to where I don't have to constantly jump, I can just walk. So how I enjoy to terraform is I tend to just have the general area be kind of naturalistic, but kind of go with like the idea of what the slope is kind of already doing. I'll give an example here. So let's just say I wanted to terraform this mountain. I would start up and I would kind of leave some of the edges kind of with, what would I call it? Kind of with the natural slope, where I would do layer by layer by layer by layer, slightly deleting it, but kind of, some people are they're visual learners, so if I went to terraform this area, I would delete a little bit from the top, and as you can tell, I leave a little bit of what kind of remained intact, where it, instead of just having it be like this, it kind of, like, to me, this area, this looks as if someone else did it. If you chop it up into smaller bits, like that, it looks natural, because it's hard to explain, because with the generation, it doesn't, this area goes up like that, but there's also this side's longer than this side, shorter than that side, and this side shorter than that side. It kind of gives you the general shape of everything. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it's with terraforming, it's very difficult to explain, and it's very difficult to comprehend. It's kind of like painting or drawing or anything of a creative medium. It takes a lot of time and dedication, and also understanding, to kind of learn how to do it. So hopefully if you guys watch me, you'll slightly learn a few things. But I'll do cuts for little tips and tricks, which I like to do. As I said earlier, I kind of want this video to be slightly more informative than the rest of mine, because I don't know, I want to try a few new things with this channel and see if you guys enjoy it. So yeah, just leave a comment if you do enjoy stuff like this, or like the video. Either or, it helps me realize that you guys do like this stuff. So anyways, I hope your day is going well. Day, night, evening, afternoon, or whatever is going pretty well. And I'm not entirely sure if you guys saw the last video, I should upload it, but hopefully you guys check it out. In that video, not to kind of give you an ad, but in that video I kind of do a little bit of, I kind of shed about a little bit who I am as a person, and I kind of give a little bit of a deep topic. The topic was about change and how we should embrace change and kind of not seek it out, but let it come organically natural to us. And again, I think if we do that, or start doing that, we become happier. So since I'm kind of already in this section, I guess I'll talk about it. So with terraforming, I tend to not want to show too much stone, because as you can tell with this generation, this is grass. And so with slopes like this, what I want to kind of go for is kind of like a canyon feel or vibe to it, kind of like how this is. So as you can tell right here, there's no stone. No stone is exposed by this small hill or small slope, whatever you want to call it. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to be just removing a lot of the stone. I will most likely keep stone inside of the sides, but with terraforming and stuff, which I tend to do that's grass related, I tend to just get rid of all the stone. And after I'm done with all of the getting rid of the materials, then I will detail it. So if you clicked on this video to learn how to terraform, I would say step 1 would be picking a land, step 2 would be sticking with it, and then step 3 would, I suppose, just doing it. And one of the many things I do enjoy about terraforming is you get a lot of materials. You get a lot of gravel, a lot of cobblestone or stone, and also dirt, as well as sand sometimes. And honestly, terraforming and just destroying a small bit of land is actually quite a easy strategy for getting blocks at the early game. And so let's just say you need a lot of dirt. I would highly suggest just terraforming or ripping apart a very, very, very small bit of either plains or let's just say you need sand. I would recommend just ripping apart this, like a small section of a beach, or a beach like this. Let's get rid of this nest stone. So here's an example of what I was talking about earlier. So with this hill, as you can tell, this hill looks quite flat. Now, just bear in mind, and this could work if you were doing something like a nice supporting or a retaining wall. Doing what I did over here would fit in perfectly, because a lot of times whenever I terraform, I do that. But over here, I don't think it's gonna fit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shape a little bit of the sides, like so. And as I do it, I'm going to go with the slope of the hill. So I'm going to do a little bit of this, and I'm just going to try to, I guess, understand the hill, but kind of improvise a little bit. So we're going to do this. As well as right here. So, as you can tell, inside this hill, it's already slightly looking better than what it did, because it has some chunks of, I guess, erosion or character in it. We're going to go a little bit further, and we're going to remove the stone, And what I'm doing is kind of what artists do whenever they paint or draw. They just improvise and go with the flow, and they kind of, it's a lot of luck and there's a lot of technique that goes into it, but I guess I'm doing my own technique, which I've learned over the many years of doing Minecraft and kind of looking at natural landscapes. I honestly would say with terraforming, if you want to get really good at terraforming, go outside and kind of study the land. You know, go camping, go hiking, or walk around inside of a park, and you'll notice that, you know, naturally we do have gigantic hills like this where they're flat, but a lot of times we have slopes. So yeah, as you can tell, this looks a heck of a whole lot better than what it did. So hopefully that works as another tip. Here's a little update on our new roommate Gregory. He's doing pretty well. He's still alive. Let's give him his daily dose of bread. Yeah, hope you enjoy it. Yeah, let me actually take this from you, Gregory. You actually don't eat gluten. Here, have some meat instead. I'm so sorry, I forgot that. You're actually a vegetarian. Have a carrot. There you go. God damn. Right, so with this wall, it kind of has the same case to where this side is flat as well as this side is kind of flat as well, but it's slightly rounded. So we're going to give this a little bit more of a dimension to it. That looks better. Bring that over and erase some of this disgusting granite. And we're also going to push this back a little bit. And so since this wall is kind of pushed back, we're going to bring the top back a smidge. And what I like to do is stuff like this, to where it kind of has a corner. I tend to want to add small water features because I kind of feel like giving a little bit of water features gives the build a little bit of life and it gives it a little bit of motion. And I kind of feel like when you give it build a little bit of motion, it looks really good. Alright, so with small water features, step one is to create a water source so that it's easier for you to actually utilize it. So with me, I tend to enjoy waterfalls just because I think they look really cool. Inside of nature, a lot of the waterfalls kind of go to one side and then they kind of bleed and they create streams, right? And so with waterfalls, I tend to kind of follow the same path. I like them to have natural paths as well as kind of make it look like it was planned and that it was naturally formed. So there's a natural spring that comes out of this mountain and it goes into this small, I guess, pond, lake, whatever we're gonna call it. And doing so, I think looks really good. It tells the story of what the nature is doing and what it has done. And with me, I very much do enjoy nature. And I tend to enjoy just making hills look kind of eroded. So let's just remove some of this. Now, a lot of times in this scenario, you probably could use stone. So I'm going to make this small section actually into stone. And so by doing that, it causes it to blend. I'm going to attempt to use stairs as well as slabs. So we're going to put a stair here, a slab here, and then we're going to do this and then do that. So it kind of gives kind of like a naturalistic vibe or like a curve more. Alright, and so with stairs, one of the many things I do enjoy is the fact that you can actually waterlog these. And so what waterlogging is, it pretty much holds water inside of it to where it gets smaller. So in this case, we're going to waterlog these stairs. And by doing so, it's going to give it a little bit of like a stream. And then to make it up a little bit choppier, we're going to do this, add a few slabs actually, and then we're going to just open this area a little bit. So hopefully this helps you out if you guys are having issues with waterfalls or terraforming. And also, before I get too far in the build, with terraforming, I enjoy making sure that all angles of the build look good, as well as the front, back, sides, and also the aerial view. And how I achieve this is I just run around and I look the build from different angles. If this angle didn't look well, which, it could use a little bit of a pick-me-up, so let's shave this. And I'll stop there, because with terraforming, a lot of times, the higher you go, the more steeper it's going to get. That makes it look a little bit better. With terraforming, it's very important that you go with the flow and kind of don't be scared to improvise, because with improvising, you have no idea what you're going to create, and a lot of times doing so actually looks really good. Don't be too hard on yourselves, just continue what you're doing and hopefully it looks well. If you guys still don't like what you're doing, you can switch projects, because with Minecraft, it's a game based around creativity to where you can do whatever you want and you can do honestly whatever you want. It is a game about creating your own story. So if you're not liking something, you can change it. It's kind of like life, because with life, we can change anything we want. We have free will. So something which you can think about next time you're trying to terraform. And this is also kind of why I like Freecam, is because Freecam, instead of walking over, Freecam gives me the ability to kind of look at the build from different perspectives. And I suppose while I'm at it, I'll talk about how you can kind of sense how to terraform. So this area at the base, I want it to be terraformed, and as you can tell with the base, there is this lake here that kind of does, I guess, an oval or a circular, I suppose you call this a circular, kind of like a flattened oval shape to it, and over here it looks like it naturally wants to curve out and around, you know. So we're going to attempt to do this. Figuring out how to terraform is just surveying the land, and also being impulsive does actually help a lot, because it's helped me numerous times while I've been terraforming. And as far as placing blocks, I tend to just honestly randomize it. I go with the flow, and I don't really know what exactly it's gonna look like until I'm done. You lose yourself inside of the idea that you're having fun. So, as you can tell from the video I uploaded the other day regarding my past builds, I enjoy terraforming, creating custom biomes, and I enjoy just creating stuff, whether or not it's houses or weird zacky-waney areas like this that no one's gonna see. I enjoy it, and it's fun to me. Sure, people might think it's kind of odd that, you know, that I make a gigantic kill because I'm so oddly bored and I have nothing else better to do, but with me, it's just, it makes me happy. And if you do something that makes you happy, why should it matter what other people think about it, you know? Happiness, as I keep saying, is rare in this life, and we should do things that make us happy. Whether or not it's terraforming or something stupid like this. Times, if you want to terraform, my best advice is going to be listen to music, because a lot of times with terraforming, listening to music helps bring the creative side, but it also helps you get a form of a beat. And if you guys want me to do a video on trees or anything else regarding terraforming, let me know. I will gladly share my tips and tricks I've learned over the many years of playing the funny little block game. With walls like this, I tend to like to kind of add small, I guess, edges or holes into the mountain. It gives it a little bit of, I guess, a break from looking so flat. And how I do this is I just look at a very flat area that usually it contains stone or some kind of I guess, stone-like material, whether or not that's andesite or diorite or granite or honestly anything. I just look at it and say, this looks kind of flat. I don't really want to terraform it, so I tend to just use stairs. Occasionally I'll use slabs and whole blocks to give it a little bit of that feel of like the mountain is, I guess, cracking in a way. But it doesn't really matter what direction I take as long as it looks good, and a lot of times it does look good because I'm just being creative. I am just improvising and messing around. And a lot of times messing around does actually pay off. I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I think it looks pretty neat. It looks kind of chaotic, but I feel like a lot of times builds that look chaotically good, and sometimes they look chaotically bad, but I think in this case it fits with the vibe which I'm trying to go for. So and with small areas like this that kind of poke out a little bit, if I want to give it a little bit more life, I will add bushes. I think bushes are an excellent way, as well as moss to kind of give more life to a build and kind of breaks away and also complements the greenness of the grass. So I believe that just randomly placing a lot of bushes inside of small groups as well as small patches looks phenomenal, and it can actually make the build look 5,000 times better. And I'm pretty sure a lot of really popular terraformers as well as YouTubers can actually sit behind this statement, is that bushes makes everything look way better. It doesn't really matter how you place them. Like this section right here was completely random. I wasn't really going for a small cluster. I was going more of a like a, poor squid. I was going for like a randomization. So sometimes I like for the bushes that climb mountains or also walls, like I did over here at the base. I kind of wanted it to kind of climb up and then droop down. Vines and glow lichen look really good inside builds. Glow lichen is a phenomenal way to actually use little bits of mood lighting into a build, and here's an example. So Dankotech, he used a lot of glow lichen inside of Decked Out to create a lot of moody lighting inside of the dungeon, and I think it looks perfect because he wanted the vibe of dark but also cut off like mob spawns, and it's phenomenal. So honestly, a lot of times when it comes to terraforming and wanting to terraform correctly, looking at other creators and what they do is a perfect way to learn. Here's an also good shout out for another creator, Waddles. I'm not sure if you guys know who that is. You probably do because he's really popular now. I used to watch a lot of his earlier stuff. He is phenomenal at terraforming. Well, he was when I watched him. I'm not sure what he's doing now, but he was phenomenal at terraforming. He knew exactly how to do it and how to utilize the blocks around him. And honestly, a lot of the stuff I know now, I learned from him, as well as, Gemini, Tay, or a lot of the Hermitcraft crew. A lot of them, they know how to terraform correctly, and it looks phenomenal. And I've been away for a few episodes, and I've kind of already forgot where everything is, so that's a perk of my organization skills, right? Right! think I might have overdone it. A lot of times when you attempt to fix it, just by randomly mining more around it and placing a few blocks goes a long way. For example, I'm mining more of this mountain, and it's looking way better than what it actually looked like, because now it looks quite better actually. But a lot of times that's not the case. It really depends on the person and also what it is. And just for the heck of it, let's do one of these bad boys. And the reason why I actually did a waterfall there is because it kind of makes it look like this mountain kind of has slight erosion because of the waterfall. And I'm pretty sure I could actually make the waterfall slightly bigger, so let me do that. And so with making waterfalls slightly bigger than they actually are, there's really no method that I tend to use or stat standard that I tend to use. I just randomly like to place blocks randomly and see what happens. A lot of times I just honestly mess around and find out. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. A lot of times, I'll be honest, it doesn't really work out perfectly. And then I change it. Like, I can already tell that this waterfall is kind of janky. So we might have to change it. Alright, that looks awesome. And I'm not sure if you guys saw what I did right there, but what I did was I placed a few blocks right here, and so when I did that, this caused this water stream to buff out a little bit. And when I put that water bucket right there, this whole entire section looks kind of buffed out. And all I did was I placed a few blocks going up that kind of blocked this section out, and so I put a blocks here to kind of buff this out, and then I just placed a few more, and then I just shaped it as I want it to, as well as this right there. I placed a few blocks. So as far as tips goes, hopefully that gives you a few for waterfalls. But for waterfalls, I don't really know what I do. I think what I do is I kind of just want the waterfall to be slightly bigger than what the area is. So we're around the same size as the area, because how waterfalls are in nature, waterfalls actually cause the area around them to kind of slightly erode them and become bigger. So this waterfall, yes, it is small, but over time it grows and grows and grows due to more of the volume it has. So kind of utilize that and it grows. So this section is doing that. I think that actually adding the waterfall makes it look a whole lot better, and it adds a lot more life to this build, as well as that small glow like in there. It gives a lot more life to the build. With bushes, I think it's really good to kind of alternate with what kind of bushes you use, because a lot of times people, as well as me, we tend to use a lot of one type of bush, and doing so makes the area look kind of blech. It doesn't add a lot of character to the build, and I feel like a lot of times adding extra leaves that are not the same type or color adds a lot of variety. For example, right here, I'm pretty sure if I just added oak, it wouldn't look as good as it is now, because I added some birch as well as some oak to it, and it kind of gives it genre, I guess, of a vibe to it. I tend to do a little bit of bone meal to give the area a little bit more life, as well as flowers. As I said before, I tend to add a little bit of glow lichen for mood lighting, but I don't go overboard, and I tend to stay with the stone. Because with glow lichen, it has a little bit of a greenish grayish tint, and I feel like it looks very, very different with looks very, very different on dirt. And honestly, with adding small details, do not be scared of adding stuff like sugar cane or moss or bushes into the mix. It honestly, it looks really good, and it adds a lot of character as well as variety to the build. So experiment and honestly do whatever you really want and feel like, because a lot of times it does look good. For example, right here with the moss, it kind of adds a little bit of, hey, this looks different, but it also makes it look really good. And as far as lighting goes, like a lot of very old school Minecraft players, I tend to use pumpkins for lighting. Sadly enough, right now I don't have a lot of them, but doing this works as a creative light source that is actually hardly noticeable. But honestly, since I've been doing it so much around the build, I kind of want to continue doing these. So let's add a few. Honestly, as far as creating lighting or posts go, do not be scared to look at Pinterest or YouTube or Google Images or honestly whatever, because a lot of times we take inspiration from what's around us. So utilize YouTube and Facebook if you have it, or Pinterest or anything if you want. Inspiration is a very good tool, so use these tools. So now this video is getting quite long, but I kind of want to do a slight introductory with custom trees if I can. So with custom trees, I tend to go with like just a straight up motion. And after I do that, I tend to do a little bit of like a cave in, and I tend to start placing leaves. So with leaves, they're kind of tricky and it really depends on what kind of tree you want to do. For this, I'm just going to do standard oak. And so I tend to do just 2 layers of, I guess, a 3x3, and then I tend to go up. Now, a lot of times when I do it this way, they don't really look good. And so I tend to, if they don't look so like this, that doesn't look good, I tend to kind of extend this over, and I drop it down. And then I add a little bit of randomness to the tree itself. Again, I'm using that randomization that I've been talking about this whole entire video, just going with the flow, because stuff like this, you are creating your own tree, and a lot of times, if you want and if you're okay with it, you can honestly look at that tree and just try to replicate it. There's nothing wrong with using references, nothing at all. So use stuff around you. We're going to add roots around it so that it doesn't look like a normal tree. So we're going to add small roots as if they're traveling around the tree, as well as a few bushes for detail. Now, so if I can be entirely honest, I'm not the best at trees. And if you would like to learn more, please look at, I believe Pixel Riffs has a few good tutorials on trees, or other YouTubers, because I'll be fair and I'll be honest, my trees aren't really that well. I haven't really done a lot of them, so take whatever I say as whatever I do with a grain of salt, but I think that looks pretty well. And then for the detailing, we're going to just add a few fences. Here we go, there's a custom tree. Yeah, but pretty much what I did as far as making this tree goes, I just did a standard small base and then a very small trunk going up, as well as just random placement of leaves, really. So this is the front and this is the back. So what I did is I just started towards just the middle of the tree, which was the base right here. It's kind of like how with Minecraft trees, they kind of do this, is they have the post going up, and then they have this X that extends up and then around it, they add a little bit of patches to kind of give it that little circular feel. Kind of what I did here is I did the center that way, and then on the offshoot I just did randomness going down on this way. And so after I did with all this stuff, I just added that small little branch that I think looks really good, and afterwards I just added a few posts, and I honestly think this itself makes this tree look really good. And so around it I just added a few wooden stairs. I decided to actually shear, or whatever you want to call this action where you right click it, you know, different varieties of logs looked like it was slightly decaying, and I added some slight buttons to kind of give these posts a little bit of more like of appeal. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really do. Leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And if you guys want to see more content like this, let me know, please. But yeah, as always, guys, have a great night, evening, day, or whatever it is. Be good to yourself and be good to other people. And if you're hungry, eat food. If you're thirsty, drink some water. Just take care of yourself and have a good vibe. See you guys in the next video.